But if you just start understanding everything they say is the opposite, everything they say is a lie or a distortion. I've got mainstream news we're going to cover with Dr. Monteith admitting that they chose a plastic of thousands of plastic formulas for worldwide adoption in the 60s that sterilizes the men. The White House science czar admits they're putting this stuff in the water that they want. I mean, folks, the military and the police, I'm not your enemy. I don't have some macho head up thing of fantasy of having war with you. I hate what you do, though. I hate your ignorance. I hate your denial. I just wish you'd research. This is important. This is real. Let's go to Dr. Stan Monteith. He's led a delegation of physicians from Santa Cruz County to the House of Delegates of California Medical Association for 10 years. He's led the battle with organized medicine in California to address AIDS epidemic. This is an old bio. And he's a talk show host on Genesis, written a bunch of best-selling books, made videos, made films. He's a medical doctor, been doing this for over 40 years, fighting the New World Order, an expert on the eugenics, an expert on AIDS being engineered, and an expert on what's happening with this flu. For the balance of the hour, Dr. Stan Monteith joins us. Doctor, it's good to have you on with us.
It's great to be with you, Alex. And this is an exciting time because, I'm getting all sorts of emails from people in the healthcare industry who are saying, look, they're threatening to take away my job. They're threatening to take away my pension if I won't take this vaccine. And I say, do not take it. Just tell them you're going to sue them. Get the other people.
Dr. Monteith? All right, we just lost his phone line. Yes, they've denied the last month that they're ordering people to take shots and it's forced. Now they're having to admit it slowly. But again, they deny it to the last minute so we can't build opposition. If an army's about to attack you, they want to sneak up. They don't want you to know they're coming. And this is what they're doing. And while we're getting Dr. Monteith back on the line, MAAC organizes Pittsburgh security for G20. It says the FBI and Secret Service are running it along with the Army. Now, we saw this in 99 in Seattle. When I knew the Army was running this 2 weeks before, I said they're going to stage riots. And then it came out, the police had to admit later, 50 anarchists were flown in, funded by a big foundation. This is all in my film, Police State 2: The Takeover. It was released in 2000. If you want to see the documentation. And they flew them in. And they had them attack police before the news cameras to then set the pretext to attack everybody. Delta Force ran that as well. That was in the Seattle Post-Intelligencer, Seattle Times. It was in all three of the papers in Seattle. Seattle Times, Post-Intelligencer, and the other one. That's all in Police State 2. The takeover. This is the takeover. And they know incremental is hard to beat. It's like a frog in cold water. He won't jump out. You turn it up slowly, he'll boil to death. You throw him in hot water, he'll jump out. That old analogy. And the troops are brainwashed, the police are brainwashed, the public's brainwashed. And I told you over a decade ago, the big takeover would come when they fully bankrupted the economy. Dr. Monteith, we lost you there, and your phone's real low. Can you speak up?
Okay, how is that? Is that good?
Good. Start over. You're saying an exciting time to be alive.
Well, it certainly is. But, really with this whole thing on the swine flu, everybody, or most people, have missed this article that appeared in the New York Times on the 12th of September, and they quote a number of leading epidemiologists who have said that, they got a great vaccine, but the problem is the epidemic's going to be over. It's going to have peaked out before the vaccine's available in the middle of next month. And that really is true. In fact, I emailed or just talked to Mr. Hartman, and hopefully he'll have those figures off the CDC webpage that you can see that it's already peaked at its highest level. They call it widespread, level 5 in almost 20 states as of about 2 weeks ago. It's already peaked and declining. The incidence of the new infections in California. This disease is so mild that most people who get it don't even know they've been ill. And what they've done is a bait and switch on the vaccine. The article that they utilized to demonstrate that the vaccine was effective was published in the New England Journal of Medicine on the 10th of September. It's called A Trial of Inflammation influenza A H1N1 2009 monovalent adjuvanted vaccine. In other words, they used an adjuvanted vaccine in Australia to prove that the vaccine works, but they're not going to give an adjuvanted vaccine in the United States, at least. They're afraid to because they know there's so much opposition to it and because it's not licensed in the United States. So they used one vaccine and said, gee, look how great it works. And then, of course, they're going to use a different vaccine in the United States.
Well, Doctor, I want to walk through all this with you, but also from your years of researching this eugenics order of darkness, brotherhood of darkness, as your book title states it, what do you think the master plan here is? This just a giant drill for federalization and nation states to go under UN level 6 control, or could this be something bigger?
It may be a trial. It may be an effort to make $40 billion for the pharmaceutical industry. Certainly, they're going to do tremendous damage to a large segment of our population because the CDC is mandating that this vaccine, or at least suggesting the vaccine be given to every pregnant woman. Whereas if you read the material from the manufacturers of the vaccine here in the United States and throughout the world, they say, don't give it to pregnant women. The CDC is saying it ought to be given to all children starting at 2 years of age. The manufacturers are saying don't give it to children less than 4 years of age. They get into all sorts of problems with it. And they don't want to give but one shot of the vaccine. They want to give 2 shots of the swine flu vaccine and 2 shots of the influenza vaccine. So that's the seasonal regular.
Well, stay there. You're a medical doctor, an expert on eugenics. I want to get into their larger master plan as well and take phone calls. Dr. Stan Monteith of Radio Liberty, his ministry, joins us today. We'll be right back. Medical doctor, Dr. Stan Monteith, joins us for the rest of the hour. We're going to take some of your phone calls on the swine flu, your questions, your comments. When we open the phones up, doctor, unlimited amounts, as many as we can take, nurses and husbands and wives of nurses being ordered to take it or they're fired. Nurses who've been fired. We're going to have a lady on today, but she kind of chickened out. I don't blame her. But we have the letters where they're being threatened. It's in the news. They're now being fired. But there's not even a law. They're using regulations, and Obama's lying, saying they're not trying to make this mandatory. Open discussions on CNN and Fox about using the military to forcibly inoculate us. But you gave us the CDC, Center for Disease Control, map. We'll put that up on screen. They admit it's supposed to peak middle of next month. It's basically already peaked. It doesn't even go up much. This is a very mild flu, as you said. So why do they want us to take this vaccine so bad?
Because it contains mercury, and mercury is toxic. It destroys the fertility. It destroys the mind, destroys the endocrine system. There is no safe dose of mercury, and yet they're going to give it. They want everybody to take a swine flu shot with a full dose of mercury, a regular flu shot with the regular dose of mercury. They want every pregnant woman to take these shots. They want to give 2 shots of swine flu and 2 shots of the regular influenza vaccine to every child less than 10 years of age.
Is this not precedent setting where they're ordering medical workers to take the standard flu shot?
Oh, it absolutely is. Well, I don't know about the standard flu shot. They've always recommended that.
No, they're ordering that. I've got the letters. I've got the letters from major hospital chains. They are firing people that don't take it.
Well, basically, of course, this is going to produce terrible damage, first of all, because it does contain the mercury. A lot of people never have gotten the flu until they take a flu shot. They've been recommending for years that medical personnel take the seasonal flu. Now, that's not the H1N1. It's the seasonal, and most people won't take it because they know it makes them sick and it doesn't do any good. The vast majority of doctors in this country do not believe in the influenza, that's the regular.
And that's in national polls. And everybody mouth to mouth, person to person, knows that I took the flu shot and almost died. I mean, my mother, that happened to her. Everybody I know has their horrible flu shot story.